Hello, everyone. IMS welcomes you all to Future You. Set your career compass right with expert insight. And I'm Kalyani, your host for today's webinar. So, today we will be talking about careers in rural management. And our topic is how an MBA in rural management helped me in my career growth. So, in this session, you'll be getting answers to why get an MBA in rural management, how the understanding of rural India gives one a distinct advantage in building a management career, top recruiters, who all are the top recruiters in this particular field. And also, we'll be talking about the placement process, a little bit about IRMA, life at IRMA. So, our speaker today is Arun Joshi. He's the branch manager with Pidilite. And prior to his job with Pidilite, he worked at Amul, Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited. Arun is an alumnus of IRMA and he has a strong understanding of the rural market and has hands-on experience of working in remote areas of India, which has helped him to excel in the field of sales and distribution for top firms in the FMCG sector. Thank you so much, Arun Joshi, for being here with us today.
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Hi. Let us start with your career trajectory. Right from what exactly made you decide that you would like to pursue rural management from IRMA?
So I think I would take the entire lot.
Okay.
8 odd years back from now, when I was also an aspirant. It was way back in 2013 when I had my admission papers. I was pretty confused because I had offers from NMIMS, I had offers from IIM Kashipur, I had offer from IRMA and host of other institutions. I was pretty confused where to. So that is when I was pretty, as a young aspirant, I was also confused which institute to go to, which course in management that I should opt for and all that. Then you do your bit of reading. Now, what really inspired me is that when I was reading through a lot of current management practices or the innovations that are happening in management or the focus area in management, I found that all the companies were shifting their focus to rural. Okay. Way back in 2000, HUL had started a program called Shakti Amma. Okay, where they were trying to empower the rural women, where the in a village, one woman of that village would become the center point of all their activities. Okay, there are two things. One, the organization can expand its sales, and the woman would get empowered, and the total household income went as high as 20% from what it was before. This is one thing that I read. Second thing that inspired me is that my first organization, Amul, that I work with, they are into dairy cooperatives. Okay. So what they do is that they collect milk from the village level, then they market it to the urban markets. Okay. So women folk for, they are at the center of all this activity. Amul directly helps 36 lakh women in their day-to-day activities, in raising their self-esteem, in ensuring that they have a stable income. So when I went through all this topics, or rather when I read through all this, I realized that probably there is huge potential in rural as it is. So I that is where I got this spark. Okay, probably if I take up a career in rural management, tomorrow when I see urban markets might get saturated. Tomorrow, when you want to expand your business, when you want to drive growth, where will you drive that growth from? That growth can only come from the untapped market of rural. That is probably when I decided that this is what I want to do. And that is how I ended up taking a course in rural.
Okay.
So this is probably the starting point, or rather the spark that I got to take up rural management. And And as it is, probably once we dwell a lot into session, I would probably tell how people perceive rural managers. Okay, when you say that you are somebody who's done rural management, there is a notion that rural managers are supposed to be so and so. So probably there are a lot of changes that has happened over the course of time. And we'll probably, during the course of the session, try to address some of the changes. And I would like to tell all the participants of this webinar that there is no right or wrong. Okay. Whatever I am sharing is completely from my experience. Somebody might have had a different experience and they might have a different view.
Right.
Okay. So this is totally based on my experience that I am going to talk about.
Correct.
Okay, Kalyani.
Yeah.
All yours.
So yeah, what is the scope of rural management in India? So since you were talking about how urban market might get there might be a saturation point there, but what do you think? What is the scope of rural management in India, and which companies recruit rural managers?
So I'll tell you, scope of rural management, according to me, is unlimited.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because even if you look at mainstream organizations, I'll just talk about Pidilite since I'm working at Pidilite.
Yeah.
Pidilite has seen that there is a lot of potential in rural. Okay. In urban markets, you might have seen products like Fevicure.
Yes.
You might have seen product like Fevistick.
Right.
You might have seen the ad for a product like Dr. Fixit. Okay.
Yes.
So all these verticals are handled by different set of sales staff in the urban markets.
Right.
Okay. In the rural market, it is handled by one set of staff, one set of distributors. Okay. So that it brings the focus into the rural. So you have more focused form of distribution, the rural markets. All the towns less than 50,000 population, 2 lakh population, they are categorized into different segments. And we have got verticals called Emerging India who look at the towns less than 2 lakhs. We have called verticals called Small Town India who they look at population less than 50,000 towns. So the focus has entirely shifted to rural. And there are, this is probably, I'm talking about the mainstream organization.
Right.
This is not what you call, this is the scope of rural management is not just limited to the mainstream organization. So I've never worked in the development sector per se. Okay. So a lot of managers who go through rural management either work in a mainstream job as I do, or they work in the development sector. Okay. Right. Even in the development sector, there are 3 categories of jobs. People who work in hardcore development at the grassroots level.
Okay.
Who work for the upliftment of the downtrodden.
Right.
Okay. There are organizations like the Kudumsri. I don't know if you have heard about the Kudumsri or BRLPS, such organizations. They are the poverty alleviation organization of each state who implement the Mahatma Gandhi National Employment Guarantee Act, so on and so forth.
Okay.
One set of managers who would work with the grassroots level organization, touch and feel rural on a daily basis. Okay. Then there are organizations who consult for companies who work in the rural areas. Okay. There are organizations like Satwa that is based out of Bangalore. There are organizations like Dharma Life. Again, it's a social enterprise working majorly on the rural segment. And lastly, there are corporates who help development in rural areas through their corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
There are broadly, this is my understanding, broadly there are 3 sets of managers who work in the development sector, one at the grassroots level, one as consultants, and lastly with the CSR.
Okay.
This is, I mean, other than the, what do you call, the general stream managers like me who has shifted into mainstream post completion of rural management.
Okay.
There are people who work in these sectors also. So everywhere, if you look at, you need rural management.
Okay.
In each sector, you need, even in a corporate organization, they might need rural managers to head their CSR division.
Correct.
They might need managers like me to handle their general operations.
Right. Yeah.
They might need consultants to give them advice on the projects that they might have to take up in the rural areas.
Correct.
So scope per se is unlimited, but reality is that when you work in a mainstream organization, I mean, I'm being very open about it. They pay you a bit more than when you work in the core rural sector. Right. So there is a difference in pay when you work, and that depends on the organization as well. If you're working at the grassroots level, probably the pay is a little less. When you're working with a consultant, it is much more. And when you work with a corporate with their CSR division, it is much more. And there is the general category which get paid like any regular MBA grad.
Right.
So these are the broad categories of managers the broad categories of work that managers take up post completion of their rural management diploma.
Since you did say that, people from rural management background, they are being hired by the corporate sectors and also by other organizations. So for you, in your case, how an MBA in rural management helped you in your career growth? As in, how did that made you stand apart from the rest of the people, from the rest of the profiles? Can you tell us a little bit about
I can cite an example. Right. Probably that would be much better because it would be a little more illustrative.
Exactly, yeah.
So I started my career with Amul. People might be familiar with Malwa region of Madhya Pradesh. I was based out of Indore, but I was handling the entire Malwa region.
Right.
Okay. So Indore is the only major town that I had, city that I had. Other areas, there are areas like Meghnagar, all such areas, which are there are tribal areas in there. There are semi-urban areas in there. So each city has got its own economy.
Right.
The mode of operandi in each place is different from what it is at Indore. So this region is typically, I was handling the fresh products for Amul. Okay. This particular region is very, very well known for the loose milk consumption. Okay. People go to the dairy, they buy the milk that comes to the dairy. There is no treatment that is given to the milk, and they consume it, boil it, consume it. It's a practice that has been there in India for n number of years. Okay. So, as a branded player, we wanted to tap into this unbranded market. We want to tap into the loose market. So, always there was a question: how do you reach to the customer? How do you reach to the customer? Only once you reach to the customer, that the customer will have a choice. Okay, I have X, Y, Z choice, or I can go to the branded player. Okay, so there is this Janmashtami festival that is celebrated with a lot of vigor. So during one of these festivals, we had organized a mass milk consumption, not milk per se. They have a ritual of consuming kheer, sabudana ka kheer. Okay, so we took out a glass, printed Amul Doodh on that, and we gave the kheer in the glass printed Amul Doodh.
Okay.
So it was, I think Janmashtami happens somewhere in October type, September. So there is a lot of quality changes in milk that happens from summer to winter. Okay. The quality of milk is not same across the year. So one, we got an opportunity for our customers to get the taste of our milk. Secondly, our communication was, we are willing to give you this quality every day for 365.
Okay.
Simple communication, strong communication. The consumption kind of exploded from that point. Once you got the customer to taste it, then we slowly started converting the customers from the loose milk to the branded milk. Why I am saying this is probably advertisement might not work in such markets. The psychology of Indian customers mostly is to touch and feel. Okay, so we had an opportunity to ensure that the customer had a feel of what our product was, and hence our sales skyrocket from there.
Correct.
Now, anybody can do this. Okay, but from a rural manager, it is expected that you know the psychology of the rural customer. Such ideas are expected out of you on a day. Okay, and that is something that is different when you look at the regular stream of manager, where they would be given some time to adapt. But as a rural manager, you are expected to know this. You are expected to get to the action point from day one. So I think that is what the difference is. When you have done a very specialized course, the output should come from day one. You do not have an adaptation period telling that, okay, I need to get acclimatized to the condition, then I'll do X, then I'll do Y. So action should be there, the result should follow immediately. And this is what I felt that it's the difference between somebody doing a regular MBA and going to work in rural, and somebody who has done rural management and going to work. That's the difference that I felt.
Okay, so and how did rural management also help you now in your present place in Pidilite?
In Pidilite, how that helped is that now Kerala, as most of you know, is an urban agglomeration.
Right.
One city overlaps into the other. It's more like Mumbai, Thane. You never know which is Mumbai.
Right.
There's a lot of overlapping happening. So there are pockets where the distribution is not okay. So to identify those pockets, to identify the set of customers in those pockets are mostly rural areas. To identify the customers in those areas, to expand the distribution. All that, my rural management degree has helped me to identifying the target customers. Say, in Pidilite, we have ground level activity. We have marketing executives working in the ground level. So what we have devised is that for rural customers, it cannot be the same activity as the urban.
Correct. Okay.
So we have planned some activities that are rural specific. And with a degree in rural management, my inputs have become valuable in ensuring that these activities click among the users. So this is how it has helped me in my current profile. Even though I don't deal with a lot of rural as seen in the rest of the country in Kerala, my proportion of rural to urban is probably on the lesser side as compared to an all India average.
Okay.
Here I do more of a mainstream job, but when it comes to specific tasks like this, my inputs come in handy because I've handled those set of customers, I've done specific courses on rural, and those inputs are taken while formulating plans.
Okay. So can you talk a little bit about your experience at IRMA and why did you choose IRMA?
The reason for taking up IRMA is pretty simple. One, I decided on rural management. Okay. Secondly, when you look at rural management, best in this category is you have IRMA.
Okay.
You have got XIMB Bhubaneswar. That is probably, in my opinion, not in the same league probably as IRMA. So that is why I decided on IRMA. And for any school, it's very important to have the alumni network.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. When I joined IRMA, it was the 34th batch of IRMA. So just imagine 32 batches of your alumni already there, out there in the industry, working for you. Okay. So that was an added advantage. Excuse me. That is one thing. And at present, this is the 42nd batch that is going to be enrolled.
Right.
So we have got at least 40 batches of alumni there out there working in the industry. And it's always good to have your alumni working at the right places. When you talk about networking, when you talk about progressing your career, it helps if you know people at the right place.
Right.
So that is one of the driving factors why
Okay. So let's take a question. What is the scope in rural management other than sales and marketing?
So see, when you talk about rural management, rural managers get employed across the segment of management. Okay. You will have people working in operations, you will have people working in logistics, you will have people working in brand management.
Yeah.
Okay, you have people working in sales and distribution, like I am working. This is the general set of jobs that anybody can take. Even if you're a rural manager, you can also take that. And secondly, as I spoke, there are organizations that need rural managers for specific jobs. People who want to work at the grassroots level. There are people, a lot of my friends are into consulting, not the regular management consulting. When I speak about consulting for organizations that work in the rural areas. Okay. Then there is the CSR division. So this is probably broadly the scope of rural management, where you have an added advantage of working in organizations which has got a rural outlook.
Right.
You have got the advantage of working with microfinance organizations. You have the advantage of working with social enterprises. You have the advantage of working with NGOs, if that's your passion. The people who go into the development sector are mostly fueled by passion, are fueled by the uh, what do you call? They probably feel that there is a lot of inequality in the society, and they feel that they need to do something at the grassroots level. It's more to do with the passion, more to do with compassion towards the people who needs an upliftment. So, and there are different sectors that people go to apart from the general management areas that the other management grads take up. There are specific sets of jobs, like I mentioned, that can be taken up by managers complete their degree.
So let's talk about a little bit more about life at IRMA.
Okay.
Life at IRMA, and also let's also take this another one. Like since somebody is asking, totally understand the campus placement, but what after that? Is there enough scope in almost every state if we want to change jobs? So you can first talk about life at IRMA, and then maybe
Yeah, I'll talk about life at IRMA again. I mean, this is the 8th batch that is coming in after I have passed out. Lot of changes have happened during that period. I will talk about my experience when I was there at IRMA, how it was. Okay. I'll talk about classroom segments. I'll talk about placements, and I'll talk about my internships as well. Okay. I'll try to cover almost all the different segments that was there on the campus at that point of time. So mostly in these schools we have got trimesters.
Right.
In IRMA we have got a semester system.
Okay.
Back in my day we had 5 semesters. Okay. So we have the first semester, post which you have an internship.
Okay.
Okay. Second and third semester happen one after the other, post which you have another internship. Then you have your 4th semester. Then you have your winter internship.
Okay.
Then you have your fifth semester, and placements happen during the 5th semester. Okay, this is how things are, and the best part of IRMA is the internship. Okay,
is the
internships.
Internships.
Okay, there are 3 set of internships at IRMA. I hear that it was reduced to 2 now. Then they are again going back to 3. So that is why I said I'll talk about what it was back then. Okay. So first internship is called the village fieldwork segment. Village fieldwork segment involves you spending 2 months in a village. Okay. Where you will have to do a exploratory study of the village. Okay. Then you will have to do a rural action component. Then you will have to do a topic of your choice. I took up rural electrification and impacts on the community. So in while you are doing the study of the village, you will have to look at the polity, you will have to look at the demography, what are the caste equations there. I mean, this is one of the major factors. Unlike probably an urban center, caste plays a lot of role at the village level. Then you have to look at what are the means of livelihood, what are the infrastructure facilities that are available there. Basically, you get an in-depth understanding of what rural is, because most of us have got an urban upbringing. Okay. Tomorrow, if you are thrown deep into a rural village, probably you will not have a lot of time where electricity is on. You'll probably have to travel in rickety buses. You'll probably not have the best of facilities to stay at. Probably this is the first step towards understanding, okay, this is probably something that I might to experience when I start my job. It gives you a hands-on feeling. Okay. Second internship happens at the beginning of the second year, or probably at the end of the first year, however you want to. Where you work, that internship is called the development internship, summer internship, where you work with a development organization that works at the grassroots. So I had gone to Mumbai. I was working at an organization called Kherwadi, which is located in Andheri East.
Okay.
I did my village fieldwork segment with the Malabar Union of KCMMF. KCMMF is the counterpart of GCMMF in Kerala. Okay. So when I went to I had my eyes on Amul. Okay. I'll not beat around the bush. I was very particular. I wanted to work in FMCG. Wanted to work with Amul of all that. So that is how I had taken up my career path too. One, I worked with KCMMF first. Okay. When somebody was looking, I mean, I'll come to my placement. That was the first step towards achieving where I want to achieve. I'll just start out how I reached at Amul also.
Correct.
Okay. Then I worked with during the summer internship. I worked with development organization. They were into vocational training. Okay. I was with IMS for 2 years. So I was an instructor myself. I wanted to do something related to education. That is how I took up. And during my winter internship, I was with an organization called SIMPA, which is System Integrated Mobile Payment Application. Okay. Where during that point of time, they had a revolutionary idea. They had a solar panel. Okay, solar basically they are into solar. Okay, they work in eastern UP markets, western UP markets, markets like Mathura, Aligarh and all. Okay. I mean rural Aligarh, not the town or upcountry Aligarh. Okay. So there I was into electrification, how to market their product. Their idea was you have to preload the SIM, like your prepaid SIM card. Yeah. Then you have to insert ATM kind of card into it. Then you will get electricity. Okay. There also, like the Shakti Amma of HUL, they had a village level person who used to coordinate both the recharging of these cards and coordinate the sales. Okay. People, even in villages, they are very particular about their children getting villages. Right. Okay. And with no electricity past 6 or 7, it is very difficult for children to study. So our activity, unlike other marketing activities, did not take part during the daytime. Okay. Our activity took part during the night. Why? Because we wanted to show that this is how it would be for the children once you get electricity. And without waiting for the government to provide the electricity, we were providing alternative option. It's again touch and feel. Right. They saw for themselves. Okay, this is how it would benefit us. Okay. Where to get the electricity.
Okay, so also, okay, now let's talk about, is rural management suitable for a completely urban bred person, or will that person face challenges if they pursue rural management and then get to work in rural areas?
that's
also, along with it, this is a question from an attendee. Along with it, if you
I like that question.
if you could just talk about, say, what are the things that one should ideally have? Like, what are the skill sets one should usually have to excel in rural management? I mean, yeah. So if you can just like very clear, like maybe tips or points.
I have a completely urban. I am born and I was brought up in Cochin. I went and survived in rural Madhya Pradesh. I did not know at that point of time how to speak Hindi. I could not adjust to the food there. Climate is tropical here at Cochin. There you have slightly moderate winters and harsh summers. More about how much you want it.
Right.
Okay. It's about where your heart is. If you want to pursue that, you would pursue with all vigor. Right. Okay. It's more about your mindset, more about thinking that, okay, this is probably the first phase of my career. This is where this is where I can learn the most. So this is where I need to spend the most time. Then probably when you later on progress in your career, you probably need not spend so much of time.
Okay.
If you are into a general management job like that I am in, okay, so it's more about attitude. I don't think you don't need any specific set of skill set. One skill set probably that you need is you need to show empathy. At IRMA, that is one of the things that they teach you, or probably that you learn.
What is
empathy? To have empathy. Okay, because you see lot of things that probably you cannot digest at one go. Probably you will not be to understand at the first instance. So you need to show a lot of patience. You need to stick around. Basically, if you ask me, you need to stick around to survive in Google. It's my take on how probably how you can survive.
So you're talking about, say, you need to have empathy. You need to, what was the other quality?
You need to have the mental toughness.
Right. Okay.
You need to have the mental toughness to stick around, because there would be a lot of adversity. Okay. I told you, you will probably not get to travel in all the high-end cars when you're working. You will not have best of accommodation when you are working in Google. You will have to show that grit. You will have to show that determination, succeed in Google. Because, I mean, other than market will be challenging. The infrastructure will not be up to the mark as compared to an urban market. Your distribution network, I'm talking about my perspective, your distribution network might not be up to notch compared to your other markets. So you need to show a lot of grit, you need to show a lot of determination to succeed. So as I said earlier, it's about your attitude. Do you have the right attitude to succeed there? Then you will succeed.
Right.
Irrespective of whether you have done a course in rural management or if you have done a course in general management.
Okay.
Once you're, I mean, I was reading a book of Sudhir Sitapati. Okay, he is a high-ranking official at HUL. His first job was in the rural area. HUL had sent him to a rural area. And he is probably a pass out of IMC or IMA. Okay. He had to go and work in. Okay. So he probably graduates like him had to show a lot of grit and determination to reach where they are today. Okay. In IRMA, the advantage is that during the course, you get opportunities to show that grit and determination, that you are cut out for this particular sector. Okay. So that is an advantage that course in rural management gives. You get a hands-on feel. Okay. Instead of throwing the fish directly into the water, probably you have some time to learn how to swim before you get into the water. I hope I have made my point clear.
What are the a few questions about IRMA SAT, since it's right around the corner. So
can you read out the
do you have any tips for the preparation of IRMA SAT?
IRMA SAT, I mean, since I am
like, so maybe some tips for preparation, as in
tips for preparation. If you want to crack IRMA SAT, it is very simple. Go through each and every IMS. Okay, you will see a lot of questions that has come in IMS mock paper.
Okay, so take mock tests. Okay.
Yeah, I am again talking from my experience 8 years before. Okay, from 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, go through the budgets. Go through the different yojanas that has probably been announced in the budget. Go through the yojanas that are rural specific. Understand these yojanas in detail, how they are going to impact the community large. Then you take your IMS mock paper. I think that should be good enough for you to crack the IRMA.
Okay.
And as far as personal interview is concerned, first question that they are going to ask is either why do you want to do a course in rural management, or why IRMA? Okay. Because this is a niche course, not a general management like the other PGDM. You have to be very clear why you want to take up this. You should have a solid answer. I cannot give you that answer because my answer is different from your answer. Okay. So my answer will not probably suit yours.
Right.
It has to come from within you, but you have to have a very solid reason why you want to pursue a course, either at IRMA or a rural management. And for the larger audience, I just give one tip. I recruit people as sales officer. Okay. More than the skill set of the individual, what I look at is, does that person have the right attitude to succeed? Okay. Is he willing to be flexible? Is he willing to learn? Okay. That too from day one. Okay. Is he willing to walk the talk? This is what I look when I'm looking at somebody, when I'm trying to hire somebody. And mostly when people do the interview, this is what they look at. Do you have the right attitude? Are you cut out for this particular course or institute? Okay. Irrespective of the institute, irrespective of the course, this is what probably they might be looking at. So ensure that your personal interview preparation falls on similar lines. It highlights why you are cut out for this particular.
What are the, there is another question. What are the risks associated with working in the rural sector?
I think there is probably some health risk. Again, personal. Personal. Again, personal. Because the level of sanitization as good as that. Probably the water that you might be drinking, because you have been habituated to certain level of quality in the water. I'm not telling that rural people drink bad water. What I'm trying to say is that probably your body might not accept water that is there.
Let's take another question. Is there scope in the field of administration and rural management?
That I'm not very sure about. Administration in the sense, what administration?
Maybe they're talking about, like, in government and in.
Yes. See, there are a lot of people. See, I'll be very honest with this. 4 or 5 batchmates of mine, after doing a course in rural management, they have taken a break and they have cracked the UPSC examination. Okay. So having done a course in IRMA gives you that advantage as well. Okay. It gives you an advantage even when, I think this is what people tell me. I'm not very sure because I have not been into a UPSC interview panel. What people tell me, it gives you an advantage also while attending the interview. So a lot of people who want to take up a job in government administration. This is what I understand once they have completed. A good number of people, I will not say a lot of people, a good number of people want to take up jobs in general government administration once they pass out. Again, I think that's fueled by passion. Once they have seen what rural is, they feel that probably a lot more power on their hands. They'll be able to change the lives of people. And that is how they take up administration jobs. What I feel, again, my perspective.
Is it possible to have corporate job after MBA rural management and after working in the rural areas?
It is. I'll tell you. You have to be very clear about where you want to take your career. Okay. I'll tell. I was from day one. I had my eyes on GCM. Okay. So I did one internship with a dairy cooperative. Second, you had a development organization. I did not have an option of working with the dairy cooperative. Third, I went into marketing. I stopped here when I spoke about my internship. And during the placement, I got placed on day 0. Amul had the preference. On day 0, they have a cutoff of marks. I probably did not have that cutoff of mark, but my internship had backed me, telling that this person had charted his career. I went to a dairy cooperative, went to Amul. I did an internship with a marketing organization. Again, it is Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. Okay. So I had planned my career. Dairy, one internship, another internship with a marketing organization, which ultimately led me to what? An organization that does dairy marketing. Marketing of dairy products.
Correct.
Sales and marketing of dairy products.
They ended up in Amul.
I ended up in Amul. So basically, you have to be very clear where you want to work at. My understanding is that it is very difficult to switch sectors. Okay. Once you are into, unless you are into core development, if you are into core development,
okay,
if you are working with the grassroots level organization, it is probably very difficult to switch into a corporate kind of job. Okay. People might be able to switch between working at the grassroots level to coming to as a consultant for organizations who work at the grassroots level. My understanding is that they'll probably find it difficult to get. I'm not telling that they'll not get jobs, but I think they'll probably find it difficult to switch sectors because both are at the opposite ends. Your corporate job, if it's on the left, your regular job is on the extreme right. Okay. So it's probably difficult to such sectors that wise. So if you are probably into rural consulting, probably somewhere down the line you can get into a regular consulting. So that way it is possible from one end of the spectrum to the other end. I think it is.
Okay. Can you also tell us a little bit about how exactly the PI went for you, the personal interview? Yeah, because there are 2 or 3 people asking the same question.
Acha. Again, they wanted a very deep understanding about why I wanted to do a course in rural. Okay. There I had to tell them I had at that point of time, if I remember correctly, I had PI offers from all the new IAMs back then. I don't know what these IAMs are called today. Because I know that other IAMs have also come up. So probably some other nomenclature has kicked in for these IAMs. Then I had offers from NMIMS. I had offers from TIS. I had offer from IAM Indore. Then I had IRMA as well. These are the offers that PI offers. These are the offers that I had at that point of time. So while at IRMA, I spoke why I wanted to do rural management. To back my claim, I said that I have offers from all these places. Still, I want to pursue a course from IRMA. And I gave my reasoning also. That is one of the things. Secondly, they wanted to know about my upbringing. They wanted to know what I was like a person. They wanted to know what my interests are. I feel that probably they were looking for something that would probably show the right attitude, establish that connection. Yeah, this person has got that connect or probably grit to succeed here.
Since we are talking about placements and your PI interview, so during placements, except for Amul, which were the other companies that were there that could give the same growth and exposure?
See, if you're looking at the corporate kind of job, you have organizations like Colgate that recruit from. You have a lot of agribusiness organizations. You had Escorts Tractors. Then I hear that Coca-Cola is also recruiting from. These. Then you have Mother Dairy Delhi who recruit from IRMA. Then you have Pidilite, of course. Then you have a lot of consulting organizations, including PricewaterhouseCoopers, who recruit from IRMA. Then you have jobs in microfinance sectors, who recruit from IRMA. Then there are a lot of cooperatives. You have, dairy cooperatives specifically. Like in Tamil Nadu, you have the dairy cooperative called Avin. Like GCMOF, they are the counterpart in Tamil Nadu. Then you have their counterpart in Punjab, Verka, who recruit from IRMA. Then you have a host of other organizations that work at the grassroots level also. I'm just from the top of my mind, the organizations that I recollect, I'm just giving out the names of those organizations. I think the list of organizations is always available on the website. If you want to check, you can go there and check. And as far as I know, the institute will not falsify the list of recruiters that come and recruit them. So if they mention that these recruiters are coming, those recruiters are coming for sure. Okay. In the pandemic situation, I'm not sure. It's probably pre-pandemic. They have mentioned.
This one more question about in rural management. Is it a must that one has to work with NGOs and in development sector to make a career, or is it of, it's the must right after rural management? If I mean,
nothing per se, because there are people who go into Colgate. There are people who get into Pidilite there as it is corporate organizations.
Right.
There is no must per se that you have to work there. Again, somebody fueled by passion can go work at the grassroots level organization. If they feel that they have the right attributes, that they have it within them to bring about a change in the lives of people, they can go. It's a personal choice. Nobody is forcing you. This is where you should work.
Okay.
Nothing is forced upon you.
Okay. So before we wrap up, can you just give us like maybe 2 or 3 tips as in the skills that one must work on and something that they can do now, because our aspirants are mostly CAT 2021 students. So, what they can prepare now to build their profile?
See, probably, I mean, if you're looking at...
Can you repeat again? Your voice is breaking again.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, again, from experience, it will not be a bad idea if you were to intern with a on a part-time basis. NGO.
Yeah, okay.
On a part-time basis.
Okay.
That will probably give an added advantage to your profile.
Okay.
It will not harm you if you were to, if you get an opportunity to present some papers on the innovations that are happening in the platform. These days, you have got a host of platforms where you can present your papers. It will probably also help you if you can take part in some of the rural innovation competitions that are, even hosted by the government of India. It will be an added advantage. These are some of the things probably that you can do to build your profile in the next 1 year time.
Yeah. So, do you think this will give them a boost in case
it will? I see again. Your profile is one thing.
Correct.
What you present there is okay. I did not have any of this.
Okay.
I did not boost my profile. I had a very regular profile.
Correct.
Male engineering graduate.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the most what do you call crippled profile among the lot. Okay. Yes. I was a male engineering graduate. I did not have any of this boosters in my profile. Correct. Still, I managed to make it.
Right.
Okay. So again, it will help you. It will help you even more if you have the right attitude.
Okay.
Okay. If you have to build the right attitude, you probably have to show the reasoning why rural management. That is something that they'll have to think for themselves. They'll have to understand why they want to pursue something in rural management.
Right.
It should not be that, okay, I did not get into any of my preferred institutes and hence the only option is Irma. So I'm coming to Irma. For that matter, rural management.
Yes.
There probably it's a niche course. It should not be that way around. It should have a solid backing. Then I think probably that will be even more for your profile. But these things can definitely help you while attending the course.
Right. Okay, so we before we wrap up, I would like to thank all the attendees and a special thanks to our speaker, Arun Joshi. Thank you so much for giving us such insightful answers on the topic. And thank you very much, and I wish you all a great weekend.
Bye.